You already know what you're supposed to do with money. Save more. Spend less. Invest early. Don't buy the coffee. You've heard it. You've probably nodded at it. Maybe you even tried it for a few weeks. But here's the thing nobody says out loud: most people who know all the right rules are still broke. Not broke as in no money. Broke as in disconnected. Going through the motions. Waiting for something to click. And maybe that's you right now. Not failing. Not thriving. Just waiting. The difference between someone who builds real wealth and someone who just talks about it isn't information. It's not income either. It's something quieter than that. Something most people walk past every single day without noticing. It lives in small habits. Boring ones. The kind that don't make for good Instagram posts. But when you see them clearly, and I mean really see them, something shifts. Not dramatically. Not overnight. Just permanently. That's what this video is about. Let's start with the one habit that separates people who are building something from people who are just surviving. They track. Not obsessively. Not with a spreadsheet that takes 3 hours on a Sunday. But they know where their money goes. Every month, without excuses. And I know what you're thinking: I already have a rough idea. But a rough idea is exactly how you end up surprised at the end of the month. A rough idea is how you look at your bank account and think, where did it all go? There's a psychological reason for this. When money moves invisibly, your brain doesn't register the loss. You don't feel it leaving. It just disappears. And because it disappears without a moment, without a decision, without a face, you can't change it. You can't negotiate with something you never actually saw. But the moment you start writing it down, even just weekly, even just under phone notes, something shifts in your relationship with money. You stop being a passive observer of your own finances and start becoming someone who actually makes choices. Not every choice will be perfect. That's not the point. The point is that you're awake now. You're present in your own financial life. And that presence, that simple act of paying attention, is the foundation that every other habit is built on. You can't fix what you refuse to see. The second habit is one that most people misunderstand completely. They pay themselves last. Bills first. Rent first. Subscriptions, groceries, nights out, all of it first. And then, whatever is left at the end of the month, maybe that goes into savings. Maybe. But people with a different mindset do it the other way around. The moment money comes in, a percentage leaves. Automatically. Before they can think about it, justify it, or spend it on something they don't actually need. It sounds simple. It is simple. But simple is not the same as easy. Because what you're really doing when you pay yourself first is making a statement. You're saying, my future matters as much as my present. And that is genuinely hard for a brain that is wired to want things now. We are not built for delayed gratification. Nobody is. But the people who build wealth learn to create systems that protect them from their own impulses. They don't rely on willpower. They rely on structure. Set it up once. Let it run. Stop negotiating with yourself every month. Now the third habit. And this one is subtle. They spend intentionally on joy and feel zero guilt about it. This isn't about deprivation. The people who sustain long-term financial discipline are not the ones eating plain rice and never going out. They're the ones who decided what actually matters to them and spend there freely, and cut ruthlessly everywhere else. That distinction, between conscious spending and unconscious spending, is everything. Here's the habit that almost nobody talks about because it doesn't feel like a financial habit at all. They protect their earning potential like it's an asset. Because it is. Most people think about money management as something that happens after the paycheck arrives. But people with a different mindset think about the paycheck itself. They ask, am I being paid what I'm actually worth? And if the answer is no, they do something about it. Quietly. Consistently. Without drama. This looks different for everyone. For some people it's developing a skill that the market actually pays for. For others it's negotiating a raise they've been too uncomfortable to ask for. For others it's building something on the side, not because hustle culture told them to, but because they looked at their one income stream and felt genuinely exposed. Think about it this way. You can optimize a budget forever. You can cut every subscription, make coffee at home, bike to work. And those things matter. But there's a ceiling to how much you can save. There is no ceiling to how much you can earn. The people who understand this don't wait to be discovered. They don't wait for their company to notice them. They invest in themselves the same way they invest in index funds, regularly, patiently, with a long-term view. And here's the part that stings a little. Most people know they're underpaid. They feel it. They talk about it with friends. But they never actually move. They stay comfortable in the discomfort because at least it's familiar. Familiarity is expensive. Probably the most expensive thing you'll ever buy. This one is going to sound counterintuitive. Especially if you grew up in a household where money was tight, where every purchase came with guilt, where wealth felt like something that happened to other people. People with a genuinely different money mindset are comfortable talking about money. Not bragging. Not complaining. Not performing. Just talking about it like it's a normal part of life. Because it is. They ask questions without shame. They negotiate without apology. They sit across from someone and discuss numbers without their voice dropping or their stomach tightening. And this matters more than most people realize. Because the way you talk about money is a direct reflection of how you think about money. And how you think about money determines every decision you make with it. The hesitation before asking for a raise. The discomfort when a friend suggests splitting the bill differently. The silent panic when someone asks about your financial goals. All of that lives in language. In the stories you were handed as a kid and never questioned. Some people were told money is the root of all evil. Some were told wanting more makes you greedy. Some just watched their parents fight about it every month and learned, without anyone saying a word, that money equals tension. Money equals danger. Those stories don't disappear when you get your first paycheck. They follow you. They sit in the room when you're negotiating your salary. They whisper when you're deciding whether to invest. The habit isn't just talking about money more. It's examining what you actually believe about it. And then deciding, consciously, deliberately, whether those beliefs are still serving you. Most of them aren't. We've arrived at the last habit. And I want to be honest with you, this one took me the longest to understand. Not because it's complicated. Because it's uncomfortable. People who build lasting wealth are obsessed with opportunity cost. Not in a textbook way. In a very personal, very quiet way. Every time they make a financial decision, big or small, somewhere in the back of their mind, they're asking a second question. Not just, can I afford this? But, what am I giving up by choosing this? That's a fundamentally different question. Because you can afford a lot of things that are still costing you everything. The car payment that's technically manageable but locks you into a job you hate because you need the income. The apartment that's slightly above your budget but feels worth it, until 3 years pass and you realize you never invested a single dollar during that time. The lifestyle that looks exactly right from the outside and feels quietly suffocating from the inside. Opportunity cost isn't about being cheap. It's about being awake to the trade-offs you're making. Every yes is a no to something else. Every dollar spent is a dollar that isn't compounding somewhere. Every year you delay investing is not just a year lost, it's the years of growth on top of that year, and the years of growth on top of that growth. Time is the one resource that doesn't come back. And here's what the people who understand this deeply have figured out: they stopped trying to have everything right now. They made peace with a slower life that builds into something real. They chose the boring path. The unsexy path. And somewhere along the way, that path stopped feeling like sacrifice. It started feeling like freedom. If you've made it this far into the video with me, and I mean really made it, not just had it playing in the background, I want to take a second to say something directly. Hit that subscribe button. Come back tomorrow. And the day after that. Because what we're building here isn't just a channel about money. It's a place for people who are done sleepwalking through their financial lives and ready to actually think. If that's you, you belong here. And honestly, if you're still watching, you probably recognized yourself in at least one of these habits. Maybe more than one. That recognition, that slight discomfort, that's not a bad sign. That's actually the whole point. Because here's what ties all 6 of these habits together. None of them are about money. Not really. They're about attention. They're about the willingness to look clearly at your own life, your choices, your patterns, your inherited beliefs, and decide that you're going to do something different. Not because someone told you to. Not because a video on the internet scared you into it. But because somewhere inside you already knew. You've known for a while. The tracking. The paying yourself first. The intentional spending. The investment in your earning power. The honest conversations about money. The quiet discipline of understanding what you're trading when you choose. These aren't hacks. They aren't secrets. They're the result of someone deciding, one ordinary day, probably not that different from today, that they were going to stop drifting. That decision doesn't look like much from the outside. But everything starts there. Here's what I want to leave you with. Nobody wakes up one morning and suddenly has their finances figured out. There's no single moment. No dramatic turning point. No version of this story where everything changes overnight. What actually happens is quieter than that. Someone tracks their spending for the first time and feels slightly more in control than they did yesterday. Someone automates a small transfer into savings and stops arguing with themselves about it every month. Someone has an honest conversation about money, maybe for the first time in their life, and realizes the shame they've been carrying wasn't even theirs to begin with. Small things. Repeated. Over time. That's the whole story. And maybe you came into this video expecting a system. A formula. 6 steps that rearrange your bank account by Friday. But what I hope you're leaving with is something a little less convenient and a little more durable than that. The mindset isn't something you install. It's something you build. Slowly. Imperfectly. With a lot of ordinary days that don't feel like progress until you look back and realize how far you've actually come. You don't need to be extraordinary to do this. You just need to start paying attention. If this video made you think, hit that subscribe button, share it with 5 people who need to hear this, and leave a comment below. Tell me honestly, which of these 6 habits hit closest to home? And while you're down there, tell me what you want me to cover next. I read every single one. I'll see you tomorrow.